I love Darcy Coates. Do you love Darcy Coates? If you do, let me know down in the comments. And tell me what your favorite book is, because I'm looking for more books of hers of what I should read next. I've read 3 now. And this one, From Below, I love stories, especially horror stories that have to do with watery, underwater environments, or even just, sailing on the seas or by the seas or creatures of the water. And so, a horror book, Underwater, by Darcy Coates. I was like, count me in. It's atmospheric, it's claustrophobic. It's about, there was this ship many years ago called the Arcadia. They disappeared. There had been like 3 SOS calls that were kind of weird that they were trying to send out to other ships, and some of the messages were real messed up and creepy. Like, they couldn't figure out what their coordinates were. They were saying they're in the walls. I don't know how many of them there are. They're in the walls. Like, what is that? And they never found this ship for years. And I think it's like 100 years that this ship's been like missing and whatnot. And one day they finally find it. It's like hundreds of miles off the course of where it was originally heading. And so they assemble this team. The main character, Cove, her camera guy, her professional diver, there's the assistant, there's also a marine biologist, a historian, and they're gonna go look at this shipwreck for the first time. They're gonna be the first people to see it since it sunk, and maybe get a clue as to what the heck happened and why this ship went down under the ocean. What happens is they're going to go down underwater, and at first they were gonna just have these submersibles go down, they have cameras and check it out, and then they were gonna do one dive, get in there and see it personally. But weird stuff starts happening. The submersibles all go on the fritz and don't work. There seems to be weird electrical issues and whatnot. First weird bad omen. So that ends up that they're gonna have to go down there and dive, and they're in this contract, so they need like at least 12 hours of video footage from the wreck. So now that they have to go dive and get it themselves, they do have cameras in their dive masks and whatnot, and they have to dive down to 300 feet of depth, which can be super toxic. And then when they come back up, it can take like 2 hours because, you gotta avoid the bends, which is when you get like the carbonation or bubbles in your bloodstream that can like kill you and crush you because you're like decompressing from all the pressure from being under the ocean. So you have that. And so the team goes and they go on their first dive and they go down there, and stuff is real weird. Things are very creepy. There's weird writing on the wall with like messages that are like, I don't know, very strange and disturbing. In certain areas, there's just stuff all barricaded up, and it starts the wheels turning to like, what actually happened here? And then while you're going through this, you get flashbacks of the story of the crew and the characters of what actually happened to this shipwreck and like how it led up to when it sunk, like so many days before, like this happened and this happened and this happened. And was the ship cursed? What was going on? Was it all just mass hallucination? Who even knows? But as they start exploring, getting into the ship and going deeper, there are things there that don't seem to want them to leave. And that's all we'll say about that. It was awesome. Darcy Coates has such an addictive style of writing. Like, I can't stop reading her books. This is the 3rd one, and it did the same thing to me. It kept me up till like 4 a.m. reading. I have read Gallows Hill, which I thought was awesome, Haunted, fantastic, and now From Below. And I would recommend all 3 of those. As I said, if you guys have a favorite Darcy Coates book, please leave it down in the comments and recommend it to me because I want to read more. She's got a lot of books. If you like creepy underwater stories, From Below just might be for you. And if you also like horror that takes place in the water, by the water, and whatnot, next video coming up will be about more underwater horror. So stick around, check it out. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.